There is a novelist by the name of Fyodor Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky was Russian. He was born in the 1800s. His father was a doctor who wanted him to become an engineer, but Dostoevsky loved books, loved literature. His father was rich. He got killed by his servants, and Dostoevsky found his freedom. He went back to reading books, writing. He also suffered from epilepsy, and sometimes when life was a bit too stressful, physically he would just get sick. The Tsar at his time believed that his writing had to do with him wanting to create a revolution. So he was sent to prison. And then there was this mock execution that 4 or 5 people, including him, were tied up to a pole and they were counting down to shoot these people. So it's a 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the soldiers begin to laugh. Then they said it was just a joke, just to tell you that next time it could be very, very serious. He came to realize the importance of physical power. And for the first time, you realize that if you want to survive life, you have to conform. You have to do as other people say. So it's about freedom, freedom to choose versus to conform. And what Dostoevsky argues in his great book, Brother Karamazov, all of us in this class want freedom, demand freedom, but when freedom is given to you, you have no idea what to do with it. It's a burden. Do you really want to carry this burden called freedom? Because then you have to make choices. And then you have to live with the consequences of those choices. And it's tough. Imagine your mom, you take someone home and your mom tells you, this is the wrong companion for you. She says, Mom, but I'm an American. It's my freedom. It's my free choice. And your mom says, honey, I love you. If this is what you choose, fine. And then you spend 2, 3, 4, 5 years with this person. You spend a lot of emotions, a lot of mental energy, a lot of physical energy, time, money. And then you realize at a certain point during the 5 years that once in a while you get up at 2 in the morning and your mom's whispers come to you. Honey, this is the wrong person for you. But fear overcomes you, habit overcomes you, and you say, nah, I'll give it a shot. And then 5 years into the game, you realize this is really the wrong person for you. And then you walk away with a good amount of brokenness inside you. You go to your mom and you say, Mom, you should have been a bit more stern. Slap me, maybe. You say, I respected your freedom. Says, yes, I understand that, but I wasted 5 years. Couldn't you have done anything to make me grow and mature and think faster? And your mom says, well, I tried, but you said you enjoy your freedom. So I allowed you to carry that cross, and you did. And the consequences, the end game is you realize it was a bad cross to carry. You really just wanted a mom who would slap, who would lock you in the room, and who would call this woman and say, never again come to this house, never again contact my son. And then sure, you would have suffered from a broken heart for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, but it wouldn't be 5 years. And it's really a dialogue between the Grand Inquisitor, i.e. Pope, and Jesus Christ, where the Pope looks at Jesus and says, you don't really understand human nature well. Human nature is not like she comes here because she's curious. She doesn't come here because she's passionate, because she really wants to understand, because she's spiritual, she's wise. That's the wrong way of looking at a human being. She comes here for one reason. She wants to make sure she passes this class with an A or a B or a C. She wants to graduate. She doesn't care about saving her soul. She wants to make sure she can get a job. She can put a roof over her head. And Jesus doesn't say anything throughout the entire conversation. And what Pope ultimately looks at Jesus and says is, Satan understood human nature. You were a hippie. You thought that human beings at their very core are good and will do whatever they can for goodness sake. That's not the case at all. We are overpowered, overrun by fear. Almost all of us in this class who have ever been in a relationship, we went into it because we liked our companions. And that like morphed into love. And love eventually became imprisoned by the do's and don'ts of life. You come home, your companion is not in a good mood, that holds you hostage. You're in a good mood, that holds you hostage. You have no money to go here and there, that holds you hostage. And eventually you realize most of your relationship revolves really about the politics of life. So when you talk about philosophy and experience, you know what happens when your drain is clogged or when your sewer is clogged, the main sewer in your house is clogged. Whenever you take a shower, whenever you wash dishes, nothing goes down. So what you have is an education that lives within the belly of consumerism, technology, capitalism, and kind of culture of people where nobody really has time to sit and process anything for too long. Things are done with a great amount of speed. And that does something to you. When an idea presents itself to you, your task is to sit, kind of like get a tan under the sun, just sit there for a few hours. Figure out what the hell this idea is talking about, what it demands from you, how you feel about it. You know, society creates a good amount of comfort for all of us. It tells you what you need to do to find yourself a good job that pays you well. And once you have a job that pays you well, where you can live, how much you can afford, what you can spend on. To kind of walk away from all of that is to walk into the unknown. And it's very, very fearful. It's, you know, the thing that the Pope or the Grand Inquisitor tells Jesus. It has taken the church 1,500 years to create a narrative that makes people afraid. And in people being fearful, they will know what to do. You need to fear not writing the essays because you will fail. I don't want to give you the free choice of saying, oh, I don't want to write the essay, don't write it. You want to write it? Write it. Because what's going to happen? Well, your nature is complacent. Your nature is lazy. If there is no fear, you're not going to do any goddamn thing under the sun. You're going to kind of take everything very, very casually. And I'm going to look at you from the first and say, listen, you don't come to class, you don't do the essays the right way, you will fail this class. And you're not going to manipulate me into caring for you. I don't know you, man. I don't have the energy to want to get to know you. Your life is not going to be my burden. People come, people go. You can be one of those. Look around you. There is poverty, there is homelessness, there is loneliness, there is depression, there is isolation. You want to be in that category? You can. But when I come to class the first and I say, listen, you don't do this, I will fail you, end of story. If that fear doesn't even move you, no one can help you. And the point that I suppose the Pope is trying to tell Jesus is that you have given people, you have appealed to their false nature, the lazy nature. They're never going to choose you over the comforts of life. And to some extent, it's very, very true because none of us in the New Testament are told how the life of Matthew turns out or Mark turns out. All we know is that Matthew has a wife. He's got kids. Jesus looks at him and says, follow me. He says, fine, I'll follow you. What's happening to his wife? We don't know. Did she go into depression? We don't really know. Did his kids suffer? We don't really know. And we're given a very hippie version of the disciples of Jesus. Yeah, walk with him, go into the unknown, and everything will be fine. Now, nothing was fine. They all rejected him because the unknown is difficult. Fear is they see Jesus hang and they say, I don't want to end up like that. They go before the Sanhedrin. Jesus got tried and found guilty. We don't really want to be in this trial with these goons over there because they're going to find us guilty. No doubt they're going to crucify us as well. You're always going to prefer your body over your spirit. That's how it is. A is always going to overcome your passion for curiosity and understanding and wisdom. You need fear in life. There are only very, very, very few and rare individuals, and history doesn't make very many of them. You know, you have Gilgamesh, you have Malcolm X, you have Mahatma Gandhi, you have Jesus, Moses, Muhammad. You have maybe 15, 20, 5,000 years of human history. You've had maybe 20 people who have overcome the desires of flesh to pursue wisdom. And fear is a good thing. It protects your companion. It protects your children. It protects your job. And it protects your income. It protects you from losing your shelter, having your companion leave you, and your kid getting depressed. Fear is a great thing. And fear creates this environment we call politically correct. Don't challenge people. Don't question them. Always coddle them.